Hello, I'm the Guitar Geek, and this is the LP600 from Dimavery. This is quite obviously a Les Paul inspired guitar, with a bit of a difference. It's a semi-hollow body, meaning we've got a block of wood running through there, and two hollow sections just here, and some F-holes. A blackwood fingerboard to get around the whole rosewood thing. It looks a lot like rosewood, but it's slightly darker, slightly grayer, and it feels lovely. For those wondering, it's kind of a feeling between ebony and rosewood, which, as an ebony lover, I love. Onto the pickups, two humbuckers. They don't look like they're much to write home about. Everything is gold, which I'm not a big fan of on any guitar, especially on the lower priced guitars where it tends to look a little cheap. And I think it does in this case. I think the pickups look nasty, but even on Gibsons of high end and high money, to me they also look nasty. Moving even further away from the current Les Paul design and going kind of back in time, it's got a Trapeze tailpiece, which is just there, and that adds even further to the sort of overtones you're going to get from this guitar. Onto the top, it's a natural finish, and that is a maple top with a kind of plain look, but there's a hint of flame there. Let's flip it over, check out the back. It's a two-piece body. I can just get that to shine just there. It's a poly finish, but you can kind of see by looking at it how thin the poly is. It's not like full of poly, which again, I'm not a big fan of. It's a two-piece neck which has been joined with a scarf joint, meaning that there's two overlaid pieces of wood like that and glued together. That's at about this part of the guitar. You could argue that being two pieces of wood you have less tone, but you could also argue that by having a piece of glue in that wood, it's a stronger joint. The machine heads are gold and are pretty standard at this price point, so there's nothing special going on there. We'll have to check out how reliable they are. The guitar is made in China and it's currently coming in at about 270 euros, which in dollars and pounds is... That price puts it above sort of beginner guitar prices, but not quite in intermediate prices. So it's this kind of grey area between super cheap and middle of the road. At the time of filming this, I think it's the cheapest semi-hollow body Les Paul style guitar on the market. There is, of course, the LP-ES Pro from Epiphone, but that's about 480 euros, which is a considerable more amount than this one. To round up the specs and features, we've got a plastic nut, we've got a three-way switch, 2 volumes, 2 tones, a Tune-o-matic bridge. The body is about as thick as a standard Les Paul, maybe a little thinner, but certainly not as big as an ES335 or something like that. So it's kind of halfway between a Les Paul and an ES339. 12-inch fretboard radius, pretty standard on Les Pauls, and the neck feels somewhere in between a 60s slim taper and a 50s. So it's not super slim, but it's also not super fat and baseball chunky. So it's quite nice. It's there, but it's not too much there. This guitar is not expensive by far, but it's also not super cheap. If I show just in there, you might be able to see the wiring in this F-hole. That wiring looks pretty standard for a Chinese guitar, but it also looks pretty sturdy. There's some nice thick wiring on there, so you're not going to get cheapened off by crappy wiring. What I don't like, however, is this really, you can really see it through this F-hole. They could have sort of tied that down in a different place or used more cable, more wire to hide it around here somewhere. Component-wise, the hardware is okay. It's pretty much what you'd expect on a cheap Les Paul style guitar. There's nothing special going on with any of this hardware. It's nothing to write home about. The switch is nice and switchy and clicky, so you definitely know if you've changed pickups. That's a hefty switch click. I like that. The knobs turn nice and smoothly. Now, that may seem a weird thing to say, but on some of the cheaper guitars, the pots are not straight or they're too deep into the body, so you get some sort of scuffing with the actual plastic knob covers. Let's plug it in, tune it up, and see if it behaves. Very happy to say the tuners are actually pretty good, and if you're a beginner thinking of buying this guitar and you don't know how to tune a guitar, once someone tunes this, it should stay in for quite a while. I'm going to play the heck out of it and see if I can get it to go out of tune. Let's see how that goes down. Being semi-hollow body, the guitar's quite loud acoustically, and this is just the vocal mic, there's no amp. But you can probably hear that there's also a little sort of built-in distortion there. It's a rattle, and it's coming from, I think, over here somewhere. Okay, there's still something rattling. It appears to be the pin retainer, which is the screw retainer on the bridge. What I would need to do is, maybe I can use my pick and push that down. There's still a rattling going on. It's maybe even be the cables inside. That needs further investigation. Signal chain time. It's the guitar into my Korg tuner, the Ramble Effects Marvel Drive 3, the Bad Monkey Tube Overdrive, and the Snakebite Reverb from K-Line. I've also got a Ditto from TC Electronic, that's the looper, going into my Honeyboy 5W, which is a Princeton style circuit, mic'd up with an integral mic inside and an SM57 as well on the front. So I've got 2 mics on there. It does that style of music beautifully, and I know what you're thinking. What does it sound like if I put it through a fuzz pedal? Let's find out. My final summary on the LP600 from Dimavery. I've been lost in it for about twice as long as I needed to record this video, and you haven't seen all of it because I've edited it out. But I've just been kind of playing it and enjoying it. It is an enjoyable guitar to play. It wouldn't be the only guitar I own, and it certainly wouldn't be the first guitar that I'd buy. So I'm trying to figure out who this guitar is for. And I think it's for the people that want something a little bit different. I don't know if you're looking at this thinking of buying it, or just having general gas and wondering what's about and what you can spend your money on. I think that if you're learning to play, this could be the guitar for you, but you're more likely to go for like a Strat or a standard Les Paul. I think this guitar is for someone who wants to get into this sort of area, but maybe a 335 is too big for you, or you also love the Les Paul look and you want something a bit different. Dimavery seem to be a brand that get forgotten, and I think if you're looking for something a bit different and you like that sort of hollow body, but the ES335 is maybe too big for you, then this LP600 is a perfectly good guitar at the price point. There are several things that I change, and number one would be the tuners, because even though they're fine, they could be better, so I would certainly put some different tuners in there. I like the look, but the sort of delivery is not what it could be. It would need a setup because it came out of the box and it's not perfect, but for the price point, it's not what you get. You don't get a perfect guitar setup at this price point. The switch is good, the pots are good, the tone pot doesn't really do anything for the first half. The pickups are okay. I might be persuaded to change the pickups. I like what they do, but they seem to do the one thing and they do it well, that sort of rhythmy bar chordy thing and then lead line. But when I was trying to play rock on it, it was just too muddy, too thick, too undefined, and I think that's what lets it down. So if you're looking for a guitar that does everything, the pickups might need to get changed. There's some paint flaws, and I'll go over those now quickly. I've got something down here where the neck joins there. They can't quite get in where the pickup is. Where the F-holes are, there's some scraping stuff, and there's some stuff that you can see on the block inside. Round on the back, it looks fine. Looks really, really good. Considering that I've just got a Les Paul from Gibson, I had a lot of fun playing this today, and I didn't expect that. So thanks very much to Dimavery. This is the LP600. You've been you, I've been the Guitar Geek. If you want to get yourself a t-shirt, there's a link in the video description down below. You want more information about this guitar, there's also a link. If you've got any questions, please ask in the comments. Again, if you've got any answers, then please put those in the comments, and I'll see you in another video. Bye bye.